Coming up in just a little bit from Hartford. And Strother played very well in postseason after a difficult Big East tournament. Strother and the Huskies going to take on the upstart Gauchos in a bit.
Rece, thanks very much. And this is the Women's NCAA Tournament. The Sweet 16 from the Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut. 3 teams still alive in the East with the Final Four on the horizon. This afternoon, it's UC Santa Barbara, the 11th seed Cinderella from the Big West against the UConn Huskies, who won it all the last 2 years. The winner in this one will face Penn State Monday night for a spot in New Orleans. The Lady Lions survived against Notre Dame 55-49 to reach the Elite Eight. Here are the starting lineups for UCSB. McDivitt and Fisher in the backcourt. Richardson, Mann, and Taylor is the center. For UConn, Taurasi, Conlon, Turner, and Strother the forwards, and Moore in the pivot. Our star watch for Game 2 in the East. Players who can dominate in very different ways, Ann.
Well, coming off a double-double versus number 3 seed Houston, the 6'8 senior Lindsey Taylor alters the way the game is played at both ends of the floor. And Diana Taurasi, the 2-time Naismith Player of the Year, raises the level of play when it's tournament time. First 2 rounds, averaging 17.5 points, 52% from the floor, 3-point range, 56%.
Good afternoon, everybody. From Hartford, Mike Patrick and Meyers. Beth Mullins will join us in a moment. The Gauchos have pulled 2 upsets to get here, but now they face their toughest test. UConn in Hartford.
Well, at UCSB, they play at the Thunderdome on campus, but here you've got 15,000 fans that are for the Connecticut Huskies. Mark French said before the game, told me that we've got to keep our composure. How we handle that, that'll be a key.
Geno Auriemma was saying yesterday he thought perhaps there was even more pressure for UConn playing at home, but a lot of people were not buying that argument. Geno Auriemma in his 19th year, and look at the record in the NCAA tournament. 49-11, 4 national championships. Mark French in his 17th season, he says it's been more years than he can care to think about trying to get to the Sweet 16. He is here and hoping to take advantage of it. 6'8 Lindsey Taylor to jump center against 6'3 Jessica Moore, and Moore got a hand on it first.
Well, Barbara Turner stepping in to get that pass, and Santa Barbara will stay man-to-man. They'll match up against this Connecticut team. How long they can do it, I don't know.
What a backdoor lob right over Taylor to Taurasi.
Well, the big thing, too, for Santa Barbara, if they can stay close, if they hit their first couple shots, feel like that they're in this game, it should be a close game early on.
Here is Taylor. She's not just big. Good pass there. The shot blocked, however, as Richardson tried to get it up. And back to the Gauchos. April McDivitt, the former Tennessee player, the transfer, playing her senior year at the point. Here's Conlon on the run for UConn. 3-on-2. Good defense inside by Kristen Mann, and she got a hand on it, and it will belong to the Gauchos.
And huge for Santa Barbara to get back on the transition defense. But watch Ann Strothers with the pass. When you're that tall at 6'2", able to look over your defense, you've got free range. It's kind of like a Magic Johnson. You can pass the ball wherever you want to.
And Lindsey Taylor had that one not actually go over her, but whistle right past her. And Taurasi with a perfect cut and a very early timeout with 47 seconds played in this game.
Well, again, for Mark French, just to kind of take the crowd out of it, too.
Let's check in with Beth Mullins. Beth?
Well, Mike, for women's basketball fans, there will be a familiar name in a new place this year, and that would be April McDivitt, the Tennessee transfer, who has been a starter all year long for UCSB and has some NCAA experience that she has tried to share with her teammates today, including a couple of trips to the Final Four, as well as a win here at UConn as a freshman up in scores, Mike.
And Ann Strother, one of 3 outstanding long-range shooters, buries a 3. It's 5-0 Connecticut to start this ball game.
And Connecticut going into a 2-3 zone and trying to keep that ball out of Lindsey Taylor's hands. But again, you know, Kristen Mann is really a big-time player for them. You talk about April McDivitt knocking down that shot, Mike, and being with Tennessee, 2 national championships. she's been very instrumental in talking to her teammates and keeping them on an even keel going into this tournament.
The former Miss Basketball from Connersville, Indiana, hits the first points. Taurasi. Is that a sweet stroke or what?
We said 56% in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament from three-point range. And when it's tournament time, Auriemma said she thrives on it.
And she seems to know every game just what her team needs her to do. Whether it's shoot, get assists, play defense. The whole matchup that UConn has for the 6'8" Lindsey Taylor, and she's just not 6'8". She can move.
But the UConn team is not unfamiliar with a tall player. Carol Walters, who was Player of the Year her senior year, won the national championship at 6'7", had a little bit more girth. I mean, it was a little lighter down low, but you're right. Lindsey Taylor has good quickness, good footwork, and she's going to have to use it. Maybe not as strong as the Carol Walters.
She is the all-time leading scorer, shot blocker, and field goal percentage leader in UCSB history, and she's a pretty good free throw shooter. Nice touch on the second one. It's 8-3 Connecticut. UConn, tremendous outside shooting team. They come into this ballgame shooting 39-4 as a team from outside.
And Lindsey Taylor coming out of the game because Santa Barbara's got to go with a little bit more quickness.
And the quickness pays off there with the steal. Kristen Mann got hit in the face, and she is going to join her teammates slowly. Mann, pretty good ball player. Nice move there to get free and got the roll on the jump shot. The 6'2" junior average is 13.5 points a game.
Well, she really brings the leadership. She was able to play on the USA national team this year. She sat the bench, but she learned so much.
Conlon, excellent ball movement by Taurasi. She's such a brilliant passer. That's a travel on Strother, and I think she twisted her ankle.
Lan Strother has Mia Fisher, the 5'9" junior, on her. Fisher, very quick, very tenacious. And we talk about Strother using her height to pass over the smaller player.
And Taylor gets right back in the ballgame as the freshman Jenna Green at 6'4" goes back out. And UConn in that zone in an 8-6 game.
You know, Lindsey Taylor got in foul trouble against Colorado, and that was a big win against Colorado. They beat them pretty good, 76-49, and Lindsey Taylor was on the bench most of the time.
Fisher, who missed a shot, the offensive rebound went to Mann, and again, April McDivitt with a big three outside, and UCSB has taken the lead. Taurasi trying to answer and does. Are you kidding?
Is that pretty?
I don't care what anybody says. She is the best I ever saw.
Well, just coming down the left side, it shows you the versatility and how much she's worked on that left side, too. Predicted to be the #1 draft in the WNBA.
You think so? I would hope so. Strother, 2-on-1. Nice pass to Conlon. Another good outside shooter. Can't hit this one. Offensive rebound. Shot won't go for Jessica Moore. McDivitt's made a huge difference in this team. Sat out last year in accordance with the transfer rules. Mann, nice shot.
Well, you talk about April McDivitt from Indiana, played with big-time Tennessee, and one thing she got dream fulfilled this year, she got to meet Coach John Wooden, another Indiana great.
Just rolled for me when I first met him, I'll tell you that. Poor pass that time and picked off the third turnover make it for the Huskies in the first 4:20 of this game.
You know, you talk about it, Mike, in the opening, in the sense Connecticut playing here at home and a great advantage for them. But yes, they do have the pressure in the sense of when they lose, which they lost 4 games this year, a lot of people were surprised, but Auriemma said, hey, other teams are better too. Give them credit.
That's right. And there is, as Conlon goes down, she is fouled. And every time UConn plays, if you're the back-to-back national championship team, there is a big target painted on your chest every game. And Diana Taurasi with another brilliant play, something they have come to expect at UConn. Gaucho fever in Hartford, Connecticut. UCSB leading UConn 11-10. You don't have the poncho, don't show up.
Well, you know, Santa Barbara is a little upset at the East Coast. The meeting was asking, where is USCB and Cal Santa Barbara? What's a Gaucho? And as a Californian, I'm a little frustrated with that too.
Santa Barbara's one of the prettiest places on earth.
Where a lot of people want to go.
Yes, sir. Another turnover. McDivitt pushes it ahead. Karina Bonds, number 32, is in for the first time for the Gauchos. Got to get out on McDivitt. She's already hit 2 of those. Missed that one.
Kind of got a knuckleball, kind of that side rotation.
Moore comes outside. Taurasi goes to the corner, fires out of there. First shot she has missed.
And Santa Barbara switched into that zone.
McDivitt, Taurasi with a block. And a foul call on Taurasi, and she is really upset. That looked like all ball. And Geno Auriemma looking at the 2 officials who did not call it and said, what was that?
Well, coming into this game, 24 blocks, looks pretty clean, and Geno saying that wasn't your call.
Boy, and he's right. He's got a reason to complain about that one. And McDivitt will go to the free throw line, trying to add to her total. Misses the first. Mann will come back into the ballgame, and Jenna Green, who's been in twice for very brief periods of time, off of Mark French's bench, will go out. Let's check with Beth.
Well, a lot of folks around the country have been wondering about the 4 losses this year and whether or not UConn is vulnerable. Geno Auriemma very frank with us yesterday. He said, absolutely, we're vulnerable. We've always been vulnerable. But the question is, can you exploit it? He talked a lot about the fact that having everybody back from a national championship team isn't necessarily a good thing because things can get stale, and that was always a struggle this year. And then he quickly added an addendum, like he said, well, in 2002, when we had 5 future WNBA players, maybe we weren't that vulnerable.
No, I don't think they were that year, Beth.
But I thought he had a great analogy off of that, too. He said, we're like a recipe. He said, to Beth and I, you can become stale, and sometimes you need something to mix into that ingredient, and the freshmen really are the ones that are supposed to do that, and they really haven't done that as much this year.
Great screen out inside by Wilnett. Crockett for UConn to get that rebound, and then Crockett back at the other end.
See, Turner, when she gets down that low, Mike, she's so tough to defend. Her game has improved so much, and I think a lot of it has had to do with Diana Taurasi sacrificing her game a little bit to make others better. But Turner is so quick, you've got to defend her more on the baseline.
Averages 13.5 points a game. Taylor trying to make that extra pass instead of taking the shot.
And see, Taylor is so long, you know, it's that long, fluid move, and so it's kind of a slow motion that she's got to make a quicker pass.
And Taurasi's pass off the mark. And Strother can't save it.
You know, it was a good look when it was open. By the time, though, she got her arms up to pass the ball, defensively, Jessica Moore had made the adjustment.
So far, Taylor has not been particularly aggressive on the offensive end.
Well, she's not a real physical player either. And a lot of people look at somebody's size and they think, oh, well, they ought to just automatically do something. But Mark French has said she is the most improved player he has ever coached. If you'd
high compliment. Taurasi rimmed out after a hot start. She's missed 3 in a row.
She redshirted as a freshman out of Chandler, Arizona, and got her grades together, got her, you know, not just the academics, but her social life. And, you know, it's a different adjustment when you're that tall and how people treat you as a woman.
First team All Big West. She made All Conference all 4 years for the Gauchos. ESPN's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Women's Championship continues. Minis regional semifinal games at noon Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. Louisiana Tech against top-seeded Duke, and at 2:30 Minnesota-Boston College. ESPN, of course, your exclusive home for the entire women's tournament.
Louisiana Tech, Minnesota, maybe some dark horses right there. Of course, Tech only lost 2 games all season.
UCSB has already forced 5 turnovers in this ballgame and scored 6 points off of those mistakes. And you would expect if anybody would come out a little nervous and shaky, it would be the Gauchos, but they have not been.
Well, I think Mark French has talked to them quite a bit as far as the kind of crowd that they're going to have. They had 4,300 at the Thunderdome when they beat Houston, and their PA announcer, George Erskine, said how sweet it is after the game, because in 2000 they hosted the regionals, and they were the number 4 seed. Were playing Rice, the number 13 seed, went in there very confident and got beat on their home court.
Rice knocked them out this year. They eliminated the number 3 seed, Houston. Taylor got the roll. Nice soft touch inside, and UCSB up by a bucket.
And that's tough to defend the out of bounds, again, with that height, with those arms way up. And Lindsey Taylor knows how to use those arms.
Crockett got the good pass into Turner, and Barbara Turner has scored 4.
This is where Brandy Richardson, the 6-foot junior for Santa Barbara, really has to step up her game defensively, which she is. But Barbara Turner, we talked about her ability to get inside the lane.
Connecticut very quick defensively, especially with their hands. Always trying to reach a hand in the passing lane.
Well, they're staying in that zone.
Boy, man, very athletic. Nice move there. Can't hit the shot.
Well, one of the few players that has the ability to shoot with their left hand as much as she does.
And she can really create. Has got that good first step after a head fake. Nice box out inside by Richardson to get the rebound. Quickly ahead, Fisher cut off at the baseline. Connecticut hustled back on defense. Kristen Mann averages 13.5 points a game. She is a real offensive player. And Taylor didn't look good on that sequence at all. This one's knocked out of bounds, and it will be out to the Gauchos again. Another UConn turnover. Tied at 14, and UConn's turned it over 6 times early. It's the number 11 seed against number 2. We're in Hartford, Connecticut for the East Regional of the Women's NCAA Basketball Championship. And UConn and UCSB are tied at 14. Taurasi on the bench. The All-American, All-Everything guard for the Huskies.
Connecticut going out into the man-to-man out of that timeout, picking up all over the court.
And Taylor is out of the game. Jenna Green back in there in the pivot for the Gauchos. Shot clock down to 10. Fisher, nice step through. Couldn't hit the shot.
Santa Barbara did a pretty good job adjusting offensively because they've been playing against that zone. You get kind of fixed into what you're going to run, but I thought they made some good adjustments, got a good shot.
There's an over-the-back call on Green, her first. They're very fortunate that they did not redshirt Jenna Green. They were thinking about it at the start of the year in her freshman season, and she, by not redshirting her, she has proved to be a very valuable part of this ball club, and now Taurasi will check back in for Geno Auriemma.
Well, she really has, and Mark French said she's got to be the spark, and Lindsey Taylor early on has fought an Achilles problem, and then also a chronic back.
Conlon short on the 3, but an offensive rebound by Moore and a fresh 30 on the shot clock. UConn so far not shooting the ball well after a good start. And good defense by the Gauchos. Taurasi tries to get inside as it knocked away. Taylor will come back in the ball game. Jenna Green's going to get tired just running on and off the court.
Lindsey Taylor only averages just under 25 minutes a game. She won't play the whole game. I mean, so, you know, conditioning-wise, a little bit different than the Connecticut players. A lot of them go over 30 minutes.
Turner. Moore tried to tip it outside and save it, but corralled by Mann, and she gives it up to McDivitt. Oh, beautiful pass by McDivitt. They can't take advantage of it inside. And here is Mann against good pressure defense. Taurasi going to be called for a foul on the baseline. And that will be 2 on Diana Taurasi, both of which she didn't like and Geno Auriemma didn't like. Thought they were both clean blocks. He has contended all year that there are 2 standards in women's basketball. One for Diana Taurasi and one for everybody else. And I have seen a couple of games where you wonder If sometimes that's not true.
Well, sometimes not true, but you know what? I really don't think an official goes into a game saying, "Oh, I'm going to get that player and I'm going to call on that player." And I think basically the officials have done a pretty good job in that first game we saw. You know, maybe that first call on her. No, exactly. We didn't see. That was a tough angle for us to see. Frustration. She had a game this year where she picked up that third foul against St. Joe's, and she and Geno got in a heated match. But you know what? She knows her game. Geno knows her game.
She could ill afford to pick up another one here. And Strother, too strong on the pass to the baseline. 7 UConn turnovers. That's been the story of the game. And UCSB is up by 2. And you got to give the Gauchos credit on defense for forcing these turnovers.
Exactly.
They've done a nice job.
They're staying that man-to-man defense. And Mann and Richardson playing tough defense. And then you got that 6'8" Taylor in the middle.
And McDivitt has handled it well. Taylor trying to be more aggressive here. And just as she does, she dribbles it out of bounds.
Yeah, she doesn't have the real strong hands. One thing she does well as a big player is she gets down low. She did a great job receiving that basketball. And also, Santa Barbara does a good job with the entry pass, because a lot of teams in the country, both men and women, I don't think do a very good job looking at their posts, and the spacing is not very good.
I think you're right. Taurasi for 3, way off the mark on that one.
Forced that one.
Lisa Willett got the rebound. Willett, a senior from Santa Barbara, getting some playing time. I've been impressed by the Gauchos early in this ballgame. They're certainly showing no fear of the two-time defending champions. And Mann comes up short on the jumper after a nice move to get 3. Taurasi pushes it ahead to Conlon, who's been off on her shot, but they can score in bunches.
You know, Conlon takes about 4 shots a game. They're all 3s.
She's already taken 3. UConn back on top, courtesy of a 3-point shot. Good skip pass and outstanding ball movement to Willett, wide open for a jumper. She's number 5 all-time in long-range shooting at UCSB.
Well, Mark French said she's an X factor for us. She comes off the bench. She can be a great shooter if she knocks that first one down.
They've hit 50% so far. UConn only 3 out of 9. Oh, nice entry pass. Somehow they got through to Jessica Moore. Margin of error wasn't much on that one.
Exactly. Lindsay Taylor went for the steal going over the top. Instead, all she needs to do is play behind, force the post players for Connecticut to shoot over the top.
Little bump on the way in. McDivitt can't hit the shot, and it's knocked out of bounds. Nice drive by McDivitt, but the bump may have cost her the basket. And good inside game by Jessica Moore. .7:23 to go first half from Hartford. UConn and UCSB tied at 19. Let's check in with our colleague Beth Mullins.
Well, UCSB trying to buck some history. It hasn't been a good time for 11 seeds in the Sweet 16. They have all lost, and all by double digits, most recently Notre Dame last year. But Mark French does a terrific job of getting the Gauchos prepared for the postseason. As champions of the Big West, they may not get a lot of respect by being given the 11 seed, but he has scheduled tough all year with games against the Big Ten, the SEC, the Pac-10. Mann, as well as Taylor, have been playing in USA basketball the last couple of summers. And, Mike, we've already talked about McDivitt, well aware of the Connecticut mystique and not backing down at all here in the first half.
Oh, Beth, for sure, this is no walkover for the two-time defending national champions, UCSB, giving them everything they can handle and then some.
Well, she talked about the teams they played, and he said, I've got to continue to have a tough preseason schedule in order to be able to get to this level. They played Texas Tech, Purdue, Ohio State, Florida, Illinois, Arizona, so they go all over.
And that's the only way you can become tournament tough if you're not playing in one of the premier conferences where you face that kind of competition 2 or 3 times in a week.
Well, in the Big West, it's not as competitive, but they only take the conference champion. They won the conference championship regular season and tournament, even though Emily Farholt, the 6-footer from Idaho, led the nation in scoring. We saw Kelly Mazzanti, number 3 in the nation in scoring. Well, Emily Farholt from Idaho was the number 1 scorer in the country. She was held at 15 in the Big West tournament, but Santa Barbara continues to make the NCAA tournament. They also have players that have played in the WNBA.
Very, very solid program and trying to make some history here. Made the Sweet 16 for the first time. The Elite Eight staring in the face if they can knock off UConn. They're tied at 21, 6:41 and counting first half. McDivitt, having been there before at Tennessee, really gives them a presence out there.
You know, you're really right, Mike. I was just going to say the same thing. The thing that I noticed about April McDivitt, she's very calm and just, I mean, something about her, there's so much poise, and yet she's taking charge.
She played in 2 Final Fours when she was with the Lady Vols.
And when they went to Purdue and Cincinnati this year, the team got to go to her farm where she grew up. There's a basket in the barn.
Nice entry pass by Taurasi, which results in a foul.
That good old Indiana story with the basket in the barn. Her 12-year-old sister, Amber, is still shooting there, and her mom and dad.
That's what they do in Indiana.
That's right.
UConn started 4 out of 4 from the floor, hit 4 of their last 13 after that. Moore at the line, which is not her strong suit, 53%, and I have not done a Connecticut game with this many poor free throw shooters on the same ball club. 3 of their top 6 players shooting the 50s. And Moore does it side saddle and hits the second one. 22-21, Huskies over the Gauchos. Much more athletic game in this one, isn't it?
Well, Connecticut's looking to do some different things out of their defense. They're trapping, they're playing zone, man-to-man. Nice block by Jessica Moore.
Moore came out, stuffed that one. This one is knocked out of bounds, and it will be out to the Gauchos.
Oh, yes.
Moore is quick off her feet.
Oh, she really is. Yesterday at the practices, the team, I mean, there was a huge crowd, a beautiful day, but here's the block by Jessica Moore. Great extension. And the Connecticut fans were cheering when Connecticut came out, and then when Santa Barbara was practice, they came out for theirs. They go, practice, practice. Well, they're staying right with the Huskies.
Aren't they ever? UConn by 1. Here's Taurasi. Another good entry pass, but knocked away. And here's Conlon on the run. It's a 2-on-4, and Conlon takes it right down the lane, and that's a block, and it looked like a good call. It looked like Battle got there late, and a great drive by McDivitt.
Well, what's surprising about Connecticut right now, offensively, the ball's going inside. Santa Barbara's collapsing, playing very good defense. And look at Connecticut's defense relax. Ashley Battle trying to make up and draw the charge. But Connecticut, I think, is a little surprised on the offensive end that Santa Barbara is coming up with all these steals.
And McDivitt, a very aggressive play as she saw an opening, but missed the free throw.
And if that's a low point for her game, it's the free throw shooting. She shoots 64%.
5:35 to go in the half. UConn by 1. Now we are tied at 22. UCSB doing exactly what it needs to do in this first half. Taurasi and Turner have 13 of the 22 so far.
And Santa Barbara in that zone right now, Mike. Again, they've switched it up too.
McDivitt and Mann have combined for 14 for UCSB. Taurasi slashes inside, had this one knocked away by Fisher. Still a loose ball, and Taurasi is out of bounds on the baseline.
Yeah, Mia Fisher on the quick hands outside on that guard spot. Got Taurasi as she was going by and knocked the ball away.
Boy, that's 9 turnovers against the Huskies in 15 minutes of play. Strother will come back in. Battle will sit down, and so will Barbara Turner.
And we talked about the 6'8" Lindsay Taylor altering the game. And especially on the defensive end right now, Connecticut really struggling as far as the kind of shots they want. They hit some early three-pointers, but they're not passing the ball like they were early in the first half to get those open shots. Now they're trying to get inside, and they're having a tough time.
And it's not even Turner causing the problem. They're losing the ball on the way in before they get to her last line of defense. Robert tries to go baseline, cut off. Strother, excellent outside shooter, misses this one. Offensive rebound and a fresh 30. They kick it back out to Conlon, courtesy of Jessica Moore.
Well, if they didn't get that rebound, I don't know what Geno Auriemma would have done, because Fisher fell going over the screen and knocked right into Strother.
Nearly stolen again by McDivitt. Taurasi, nice skip pass to Conlon. Just ice cold from outside, but another offensive rebound. And a big cheer from the Husky supporters. Oh, what a play by McDivitt. She saw Conlon turn her head to get instructions from Geno Auriemma and went right after it.
And now switch back into man-to-man defense.
3 out of 11 from long range for the Huskies, who shoot nearly 40% as a team, and a poor empty entry pass, and the 10th turnover for UConn. UCSB with defense, giving the Huskies all they can handle. All right, Rece, thanks very much. And UCSB, not surprised about what it's doing here. They knocked off the number 6 seed Colorado, then the number 3 seed Houston. Now they face number 2 UConn. And it's very unusual to say number 2 UConn, number 2 at anything, but they are the 2nd seed in the East.
Now, it's interesting, again, being a West Coast person. I've seen the Big West, the Pac-10, and the teams out on the West Coast, and for Rece to say a little bit of a surprise, sure, Connecticut is, in the sense of how this game is going, but because teams on the West Coast don't get as much exposure, people throughout the country don't know those teams as well.
Karina Bond's got a good offensive rebound there, and McDivitt to fire again, trying to hustle and save it in the corner, goes down hard, and the ball's out of bounds to UConn.
That was...
She gives the mascot a little pet, says sorry about that. The mascot's supposed to be the one that's watching out for the player, not the other way around.
Yeah, McDivitt is playing like a defensive back in this game right now. She's just hawking everything. And there's the big thing, 26% for Santa Barbara. Connecticut, 42%. But like you said, Mike, 10 turnovers. And it's because of the switching defense that Santa Barbara is putting on Connecticut.
And they have done a sensational job at this end of the court. Connecticut has played unsteadily as an offense. Turner, Taurasi there for the foul.
Well, that was huge. Their 5th offensive rebound. And Taurasi's the type of player, again, she makes everybody better. But when things aren't working for her, she'll go find something that will. And on the offensive boards, that's what's going to work.
Getting really physical, too. And the foul will be on Turner for a hold.
See Taurasi just sneak underneath, and Richardson lost sight of her, wasn't feeling her as much, and Taurasi right underneath the basket came back to knock that shot down. Tough shot.
It was, but she finds a way with either hand. Santa Barbara's impressed me with its ball movement, too. That one was kicked and will stay with the Gauchos, and they'll get a fresh 30 on the clock.
Well, we talked about, early on as far as how teams can get high if they haven't been there and they're so emotionally excited to be there. But April McDivitt, we mentioned being at Tennessee, said, look, we've just got to play like we can against Connecticut as anybody else.
Taurasi head up, right down the lane, goes to the left hand, can't hit it, but the follow is good. And Taurasi comes up limping.
And then she had off-season surgery on that ankle.
Well, she hurt the ankle or the knee when she came down there. UConn is up by 4, and Taurasi is still grimacing. Taylor with the left hand.
Wow.
And that hit everything till it came off. Taurasi with a rebound, and there's a foul underneath. No, they call it a jump. No, it is a foul.
Because he put his thumbs up.
Yeah, he did. One official signals for a jump, another signals for a foul, and Taurasi will come out.
If that shot had gone down, that would have helped quieted the crowd. Well,
it stayed on the rim forever. That's
right. But the thing that impresses me that Santa Barbara, they bounced past that ball inside to Lindsay Taylor at 6'8" instead of going high. And Connecticut's doing a better job getting their hands on the ball.
Nice backdoor cut, good pass by Strother. But they can't get inside with Ashley Battle. Strother with a runner for 3. No, check it, put on the line, it's a 2. But a pretty shot nonetheless. And the biggest lead for UConn now, they're up by 6. And this crowd of 16,000 going crazy at the Civic Center in Hartford. Taylor threw that one up. The foul won't go. knocked out of bounds, and it is off of UConn out to the Gauchos.
Well, Santa Barbara is going inside to Lindsey Taylor. Connecticut's doing a great job pushing her out and making her take tough shots. Not as close as she would like to, but once she puts the ball up, Santa Barbara's going to the offensive glass and getting that weak side rebound.
Geno Auriemma said he has always believed in the philosophy that you try to go after the leading scorer and make sure they don't kill you, and that's why they're working so hard against Taylor, who averages 16-4. 1 on the shot clock, and it's a shot clock violation as Taylor had it underneath and apparently did not realize she only had 1 second to throw something up. This is quite a close to the first half for UConn. They have sprinted out to a 6-point lead. And doing it now with Taurasi on the bench as she hurt a foot or an ankle on that last possession. Battle lost it. Strother recovers, and Strother fires. Offensive rebound to Turner. A fresh 30. There's about a 10-second difference between the game and shot clock.
And these last 3 possessions for Connecticut has really brought the crowd into it. And we talked about Santa Barbara. Are they going to be able to keep their composure?
UConn's always run that pretty weave outside. Conlon misses the long shot, and UCSB can play for the last shot of the half, down by 6. McDivitt holding it outside, and everyone on their feet in Hartford. And that's a foul, a reach-in by Conlon, her first.
Foul to give.
Coming up on the Singular Halftime Report, we'll take a look at the first game here in Hartford, the Notre Dame-Penn State thriller, and a feature on Barbara Turner off the court. So just stay tuned for that.
Yeah, and what a good play that is, to foul it and force Santa Barbara to take the ball out of bounds and kind of reset.
Had one to give. No basket, out of bounds on the sideline. Kristen Mann had a heel out of bounds, and UConn will have 5.3 left. And Taurasi will come back in for that 5.3 seconds.
And Connecticut is taking care of the basketball down the stretch here in this first half.
UCSB got off to such a great start, but they have only hit 3 of their last 23. Taurasi would have been good had it gone, but the 2-time defending national champions did their job at the end of the half, had a 6-0 run to break a 22 all-time and take the 28-22 lead. But you have to believe that UCSB is going to go to the locker room very satisfied with their first half performance in a very difficult environment here in Connecticut. Let's go to Beth.
Well, thanks, Michael. Geno, is this exactly what you had expected from UCSB coming in?
Yeah, well, I remember when we played them out there. I mean, they get right up into you, you know, and it's been awfully hard for either team, I think, to get any clean looks at the baskets. And I think the whole game's been rushed, you know. I think both teams are on a little bit of an adrenaline flow right now, so I think we're going to have some decaf at halftime.
You told us yesterday the mental focus so important in the postseason. Was that the issue with you guys with the turnovers in the first half, do you think?
I think we're in a hurry. You know, I think the pressure that Santa Barbara put on us, I think we're trying to hurry up and score. We scored a couple quick buckets early, and we thought, oh, boy, you know, this is going to be great. But when you play in a game like this, I think you got to settle down into an offensive rhythm, and I'm not sure that we found it yet.
Has anybody been able to give you a report on Diana's ankle? Is she going to be okay for the second half?
Well, we haven't had a chance to look at her yet. I don't know what happened. I think she landed on it funny, but, you know, knowing she went down and got that big rebound, believe me, she'll play in the second half.
Thank you, Geno.
All right, Beth.
All right, Beth, thanks very much. And UConn with a 6-0 run to end the half has a 28-22 lead behind their All-American, all-everything star, Diana Taurasi. Let's go to Rece Davis.
All right, Mike, glad to have you with us on the Singular Halftime Report. In this game bearing many of the earmarks that we saw in the UConn game against Auburn in the second round. 6-point halftime lead, just as they had against Auburn. Strong defensive effort at the end of the half. Took Auburn 15 minutes in the second half just to make a single basket. But still, when the momentum started to change, you wanted Mark French to call a timeout.
I think I would have called a timeout. It was about the 3-minute mark when Taurasi made that left-handed shot. She missed it, actually, and it was a putback by Jessica Moore. I think that really sent the fans wild, and I think that really hurt UCSB. I would have called a timeout. It was about 24-22 at that time.
Well, I think how important is Diana Taurasi? I mean, she is in the game for 8 minutes with 2 fouls. He does not take her out of the game. That's how important she is because the offense runs through her. She has to be on the floor for this UConn team to really be effective. She comes out with 2 fouls at the 2-minute mark. Then he puts her back in to score at the end, and it was a pretty nice look at the basket. But she's very important. I expect that ankle to be totally healed or whatever. She'll be fine in the second half.
All right, very quickly, if you're Mark French, given the way the end of the half came, are you happy with the way it ended?
Well, I think that's a relative term. Are you happy? I'd be happy with the lead or a tie or maybe a 2-point lead even. I think he's probably satisfied with how they're playing, but I don't know if he's happy. I mean, let's go. We want to win the ball game, so I'd rather have the lead or be a little closer.
I'm definitely not satisfied. They gave up some offensive boards at the end of the first half that I think is crucial in the second half. They're going to have to do a better job blocking out.
UCSB is the 7th team seeded 11th or lower to make it to the Sweet 16. All of the previous ones have lost by double digits, but so far the Gauchos have been hanging in there. We will continue on the Singular Halftime Report. Penn State is already advanced to the Elite Eight. We'll show you how Kelly Mazzanti got there for the first time when we come back.
And the number 2 seed, Connecticut Huskies, with a 6-point lead over the number 11 seed, the lowest seed left in the entire tournament, UCSB. Connecticut scored the last 6. Diana Taurasi, the leading scorer in the first half, Annie.
Well, she started out hot, hit that first 3-pointer, and then what a great driving layup that was with the left hand. And then all of a sudden, her teammates started missing. They turned the ball over 10 times in that first half. They really struggled against the defense of Santa Barbara. And there you see Taurasi kind of getting hit in the stomach. But she was not deterred. She wanted the ball. She's leading the team in scoring in that first half with 9 points.
And she's moving just fine right now as we get ready to start the second half. And Taylor in our Star Watch, only 3 points. The All-Big West first-team center averages 16-4 a game and has scored 29 points in the first 2 games of the NCAA tournament. She really needs to be more of an offensive factor in the second half if the Gauchos are going to come back. McDivitt running the ball club, very solid point guard.
Connecticut coming out in that man-to-man. They were switching things up in that first half.
Taylor goes with the left hand, a little short on the jump shot. Rebound is Strada.
But do you see how far Jessica Moore is pushing her out, making that shot just a little bit further away? Not quite as comfortable for Lindsey Taylor.
Strada goes baseline, cut off, little jumper, hit the back of the rim and kicked out. But an offensive rebound, back to Strada for a standstill 3.
Well, Mike, Connecticut can be so relentless on the offensive boards. They're so strong, they're physical, they're aggressive.
And they're smart. The danger zone for UCSB because UConn's so explosive. Taylor with a little runner missed everything. Offensive rebound goes to Fisher, who's been very quiet offensively. Tries to get by Conlon, goes to the floor, lost the ball, and Conlon goes right down on the deck and ties her up.
Now, to me, that's a key play right there, how you come up. Both players not, intense per se, but Conlon goes after the basketball right over the top, and you see Fisher. Conlon just turns her over her shoulder and rolls her. The arrow is pointing towards Connecticut, but you know what? If I'm a player, too, I'd come up that floor. I'm mad. I'm either intense the ball's my way or I'm mad that it didn't go my way.
That's right.
Just to bring some fire to your teammates.
Taurasi loves that little skip move. And very good at that pass as well. Moore. Nice box out inside by Mann.
They're saying,
and they're going to call Mann for the foul, riding her out.
Mark French can't believe it. They're saying Mann used her arms too much, were wide out to keep Turner out of there. Mark French in his 17th year, 11 20-plus wins. 2000, they won 30 games.
He's already proven this team belongs in the Sweet 16. This is a pretty good ball club. You can see all the elements put together against a very experienced and dynamic UConn team. With the left hand, a bad miss by Jessica Moore. The junior just really forced that one out.
And that looked like it could have been an offensive foul with that right hand way out there.
Nice shot by Lisa Willett. Comes off the bench to hit for her 6th point and cuts the lead to 6.
Santa Barbara in that zone.
Taurasi open, in and out. And bodies fly on the rebound, knocked out of bounds, out to UConn.
Oh, McDivitt just going in there for a saving dive.
She's tough. No wonder they were thrilled to get her when she transferred from Tennessee.
Well, one of the reasons it came about is that, not that she didn't enjoy Tennessee. Oh, a tough call from behind. Willett getting called.
That looked like all ball.
Jessica Moore really brings the ball back behind her head off a shot. That's a tough call for Santa Barbara.
We're in Hartford, where number 2 UConn trying to advance to the Elite 8 again. And a date with top-seeded Penn State on Monday night, Mike Patrick, along with Ann Meyers and Beth Mullins.
April McDivitt, was just looking for something a little bit more, and she used to come out to Northern California and do the basketball camps for UCSB. And plus, she's very involved with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And Corey Close, who's an assistant associate head coach with Mark French, played at Santa Barbara. They were very good friends, but Corey Close said, this might be the school that I want to go to. A little push by Turner on the outside. And Erin Busher, who was an All-American and 3 years Big West Player of the Year at Santa Barbara, transferred her senior year to a religious school.
Mann. McDivitt guarded by Conlon. Can't blow by her. Mann trying to penetrate, goes with the left hand. Nice shot, but can't finish. And another rebound to Jessica Moore.
Well, Kristen Mann, she's got to start scoring points for this Gaucho team. She's really instrumental as far as their points are concerned.
She's made all the right moves.
Coming off 2 games in the NCAA where she got double
pass by
figures.
Conlon. Randy Richardson out of Hawaii. Good bounce pass on the baseline, and McDivitt knocks down a big jumper. McDivitt has 10. They usually don't look to her to score. She only averages 7.9 a game.
Well, Santa Barbara has really taken advantage of the turnovers by the Huskies.
And sometimes against UConn, you need help, and they're getting it today. Conlon, nice move to get free for a jumper. Won't fall, though. And Mann with a rebound.
But that's the kind of shot they want Conlon to take. McDivitt is playing tight because Conlon was 1 for 5 in 3-point range. Those were all her shots in the first half. She's not a player that shoots off the drive or shoots too many twos.
Try to isolate Mann here on the right side a little bit. She tries to wheel into the lane and walks. Santa Barbara missing some opportunities here to cut into this lead. We played nearly 4 minutes. It was 6 at halftime, and it's still 5.
And Lindsay Taylor, whose dad is 6'11", and her uncle is 7 foot. They call him Tiny. Her uncle, who's an actor down in Los Angeles.
Family of giants. Here's some full court pressure by Karina Bonds, number 32. Against Conlon. But Conlon bring the ball up, and maybe Taurasi can get a shot.
Bond's got knee in the thigh. You can really see her limping out there.
Shot clock down to 7. Good defense by Santa Barbara, and Strother careless with the basketball, and another turnover.
I tell you, Geno, Auriemma, and Chris Daly must be pulling their hair out of their head with the turnovers that this Huskies team has had.
That's a dozen. An uncharacteristic sloppiness for the Huskies.
A lot of standing around right now.
And it's basically come down to Mann, and Mann traveled again. She's gone one-on-one the last 3 times, a missed shot and 2 turnovers. The winner takes on Penn State and All-American Kelly Mazzanti, the leading scorer in the history of the Big Ten. 15-12 to go from Hartford. UConn still by 5 over UCSB. Let's go to Beth Mullins.
Well, Mike, Diana Taurasi has always been appreciated as one of the best passers ever to play the game, and now she goes down today with a couple of assists in the UConn record books as #1, surpassing Jennifer Rosati. When we talked to her about it yesterday, she's like, actually, I'd love to be able to keep Jen's name in the books. I idolized her when I used to watch UConn, and she epitomizes Husky basketball.
And boy, when you pass Bird and Rosati on the all-time assist list, Beth, you passed 2 of the best that ever played. And that's how good Taurasi is. I mean, she can be your all-time scorer, your all-time assist leader, your all-time whatever you want.
How about players of the years that they've had? Jen Rosati, Sue Bird, Rebecca Lobo.
Sure.
Taurasi.
UCSB missing makeable shots, and a great feed from Taurasi. Strother couldn't hit the shot, but the follow was good.
Those are the ones you joke about in the locker room, saying, you blew my assist and padded your rebound.
Exactly.
You know, Santa Barbara right now, they've got to get something going on their front line. Their front line is 3 of 19.
Huge 3 from McDivitt.
If the guards continue, McDivitt's keeping them in this game because the front line, 15% from the floor.
Boy, and she has a sideways rotation on that shot, too. Another 5 feet, and that ball makes a left.
The Pebble Beach, she'd like that.
That's right, a little draw on it. Shot clock at 5 for Conlon. Taurasi will have to take the tough shot. A winger from the baseline, can't hit it, but got it back.
They didn't block out.
No, they didn't, and Taurasi was the aggressor going for the rebound.
Well, Willett did a good job not getting the foul because she gets the foul there, but again, those offensive rebounds give you the second and third opportunity to set up in your offense.
And really, if you play good, hard defense, it's so hard to play it for the entire shot clock. Then to give up the offensive rebound and have to go right back and play defense again, that's tough. Taurasi, not a good shooting day, only 4 out of 12. For the second all-time scorer, or the 5th all-time scorer, rather, in Connecticut history. She only needed 105 points coming in to be #1.
Well, Brandy Richardson's been playing some pretty good defense on her.
Taurasi with a miss here, and another offensive rebound and a fresh 30. Turner, nice interior pass, but knocked out of bounds. Tried to get it to Moore.
Well, that's what Santa Barbara does so well, because once Lindsay Taylor comes over to help out, they rotate down, and McDivitt got there in time.
And they have played outstanding defense today. Their offense has gone south here in the second half, though. Conlon for 3, way outside. And the rebound to Richardson. McDivitt pushing. Taylor will try a 3. I don't think that's the shot they wanted in that offense.
Well, she's taken some. She's made 5 of 18. What a steal by McDivitt.
McDivitt just stripped Taurasi on the way in 2-on-2. McDivitt, what a pass for the layup. She has done it all. The steal, the assist. She's been a great outside shooter, and she is having a great time.
And Joe Curl, the coach of Houston, who coaches Chanji Jones, not too bad a guard, he said she is the best point guard, April McDivitt, that he has seen this year in the country.
Boy, she's put on a sensational performance today and has them back within 2.
Oh, nice backdoor.
Great cut, great pass. Taurasi with the layup. UConn's players have always passed the ball so well.
Well, and the reason being, Geno Auriemma has always expressed team orientation as far as everybody gets involved. And it's just not just about one player.
Mann trying to back in. Little fadeaway jumper. And finally got the roll on one.
Taurasi and Taylor going down.
Taurasi's hit the floor about 4 times in this game. 36-34. She looks to Geno Auriemma for what he wants to do on this trip down. Battle from long range. Ashley Battle, who has made 5 3-point shots all year, hits a big one.
Oh, she's so athletic. She comes in for Connecticut to really change the tempo of the game because of her aggressiveness style on the defensive end.
Conlon a little short on the pass. Taurasi there defensively. Always has her head up. Slashes right to the basket. Goes to the left hand.
You know what makes her so effective too, Mike, is that she changes speeds. She doesn't go 100 miles an hour. She's kind of like cruising in second gear, shift to third, come back down to first.
And then Jan and Dean start singing about taking the dead man's curve. It's 41-34, UConn. 10 minutes, 41 seconds on the clock from Hartford, and Connecticut has bounced out to a 7-point lead over the 11th-seeded Gauchos. UC Santa Barbara got off to a great start, forcing 14 turnovers. The first-half scoring drought hurt them, though. UConn, 22 points inside. Taurasi, tough shooting day, but she has broken the all-time assist record. And that's our Harley-Davidson game track here on ESPN for the second Sweet 16 game from Hartford.
And if they were to play 4 games, she would have to average 30 points to break Natisha Sales' scoring record.
Yeah. But she is capable. If they needed it, she could get 40. But she wants another ring.
And she thinks she has good enough players around her to get her there.
That's great ball handling by McDivitt. Mann goes to the left hand, rims out on it.
You and I were just talking at the timeout, and Kristen Mann really has to get on track as far as getting some shots and scoring. We talked about Lindsay Taylor, too, but Mann is really the key, and she's had some good shots. They've fallen out for her in the second half.
That was an unfortunate break for her. That ball was halfway down. Taylor only has 3 points. She averages 16 and a half. So somebody has to make up that slack, and right now nobody's doing it. Moore with the left hand. Taylor, good defense that time. And it looked like Mann knocked that one out of bounds, and it will be out to Connecticut.
You know, the adjustment for Santa Barbara defensively, and Mark French is going to have a timeout, and they're going to discuss it, and we'll discuss it later.
The lead is 7. Right you are. 9:59 to go in the half. UConn by 7 points. Back in Hartford, and we want to show you one of the fun things about this tournament. The all-time scoring leaders. Look at Shamika Holtzclaw. 479 points for Tennessee as they won back-to-back-to-back national championships. Bridget Gordon second. Diana Taurasi has moved up to third. Only 31 points from catching Gordon, and ahead of Cheryl Miller, one of the great scorers of all time. Basket and the foul on the inbounds to Jessica Moore. The foul will be on Lindsay Taylor.
Big time out-of-bounds play by the Huskies. Jessica Moore being left-handed, too, sometimes throws you off defensively where you need to be. And Lindsay Taylor just really got hung out on a pick and got caught behind the defense.
And Moore goes side saddle again, trying for the three-point play the old-fashioned way with a miss. Taylor grabs the rebound. The lead is up to 9. Mann has hit 3 of her last 13 shots. Taylor is 1 of 9. They need better production. They hope to get back in it, even though April McDivitt has been brilliant. She's not going to be able to carry the load. Somehow the pass got into Richardson. Mann out of the corner. In that again.
She's only got 2 points in this second half, but she's had some tough shots not fall for her.
Boy, that is just tough shooter's luck. Battle trying to slash her way in off balance and draws the foul. Taurasi will come in at the next opportunity. She won every award there is to win. Unfortunately, this year in the Associated Press balloting, 47 writers vote. 45 picked her as an All-American. First team. 2 writers actually thought Diana Taurasi was not one of the best 5 players in the entire country.
Well, and a lot of it was interesting to hear one of the quotes by one of the writers saying, well, you know, her numbers were down. But it also shows to me that they don't watch the games.
Or
again, the exposure. Okay, so your numbers
pay
are down.
attention at all.
Well, exactly.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Biggest lead is 11.
Santa Barbara did such a good job in that first half to create so many turnovers by the Huskies. And right now, Santa Barbara, they're on the other end. This second half, they're not taking care of their basketball. Connecticut doing a much better job in the second half.
UConn normally makes you pay for mistakes. Battle, short. The rebound goes to Jenna Green.
And that was a huge difference, Mike, in the first half. Santa Barbara's defense was so good, and the Huskies did not do a good job taking care of the basketball. In the second half, it's kind of changed around a little bit.
Green can't get inside. McDivitt out of the corner. Offensive rebound, Richardson.
You know, Santa Barbara really kind of struggling to get some good looks at the basket. Defensively, Connecticut has picked up their intensity on the defensive end.
On Strother, her second. And Richardson out of Hawaii goes to the free throw line.
3-time Hawaii Player of the Year. And, you know, Vince Gu, who just retired after 17 years at the University of Hawaii, was like, how did Richardson get away? And she said in high school, her high school coach told her, you know, if you don't leave the island, a lot of the Hawaii players won't get the opportunity to go to big-name schools. And Santa Barbara's a big-name school.
Now, isn't that interesting? Somebody, a quality player has got to leave for the benefit of some other people.
And Hawaii is a good program, too. Vince Gu has done a remarkable job there, but they haven't really been able to get out and get the recognition.
I'm going to have a tough time getting me to leave Hawaii for any place.
You want that job?
Oh. 8:10 to go in the game. Taurasi out of the corner, too strong. Battle, offensive rebound, and a fresh 30.
Smart move bringing it back out.
And time is on the side of the Huskies. 7:53 and counting. The lead is 9.
And Santa Barbara a little tired, and you can see it in the defensive side. They're just not getting to the spot as quick.
Taurasi double teamed at the baseline, had the ball knocked loose.
Now, Geno Auriemma wanted a foul. Diana Taurasi was trying to cut. Richardson was standing right there, but Taurasi did not veer off to try and go in any other direction.
Mann picks up the dribble. McDivitt. She'll fire and got another one. April McDivitt has been tremendous. 16 points. That one was a flatliner.
And she's tied her career high.
She has hit 4 threes. And she is keeping the Gauchos hope alive. They're down by only 6. And that's going to be a foul on Richardson, the Big West Defensive Player of the Year.
And that's the other thing Taurasi does. I mean, she's so good with the ball in her hand, but she's even better without it in her hand.
Does a great job at cutting off screens, and McDivitt has done a brilliant job with that jumper tonight. 45-39 UConn. Let's check in with Beth Mullins. Beth?
Well, from that UCSB huddle, Mark French very animated with his team. Look for them to try and work a little harder on the offensive glass. He says, we need to get the basketball inside, and that was the message. Get some looks inside, and then we can kick it out. And even though McDivitt has been making tough shots, Mike, they'd love to get her some easier looks on the kick out.
Well, you're right, and she has been sensational, Beth, with those 4 3-point shots. She's tied a career-high 16, but she needs some help offensively. Taurasi, baseline, got it. And always count on her, it seems, to make the big shot. Taurasi with 15, the lead back to 8.
Well, you want to get inside and not only to get a good look, but also to try and get yourself at the free throw line. Force Connecticut to get some fouls on you, get to the free throw line.
Mann cut off at the baseline. Fisher lost the ball out of bounds. Mia Fisher averages 9.8 points a game. She is scoreless in this one.
Scoreless, 2 assists, 2 turnovers.
Connecticut right now content to take a little time off the clock, up by 8. Although they will not become overly conservative. Taurasi, fadeaway jumper.
Well, Taurasi is so good at using her body and shielding it. And again, with her length, her size, with mismatches on her, even with players that are as big as she is, she just knows how to use her body.
The lead has grown to 10. And this foul called on Wilnette Crockett, the sophomore from Harbor City, California.
Taurasi coming across, a little holding there, and then nice screen again. She reminds me of a Bill Bradley. I mean, she's in constant motion, or John Havlicek. I know those names are old for some people.
Nah. When Lisa Willett, you saw her trying to buy one on that replay. She just did a flop, and the officials alert enough not to give it to her. And Taurasi, a poor pass to it right in the hands of McDivitt. And April McDivitt nailed from behind by Jessica Moore.
I tell you, McDivitt and Taurasi have been on the floor more than the broom has been out there.
Richardson will come back in. Fisher will go out. As Willett was going to go out too, and now Willett has to stay on the court unless they want to play 4 against 5. Taylor just has not been her day.
No, and she wanted the foul there and really forced it. Willett, good hand.
Great try, but can't come up with it. 5:24 left. UConn has now built a 10-point lead to the appreciation of their fans, and boy, what an effort by McDivitt.
Well, it was, but again, she's the only guard out there, and you need some help to come up and get that ball. Once you turn that offensive player, which is great, their back is to the rest of the defense, but somebody's got to come up from behind.
Taurasi with a miss. The ball goes to UCSB. The Gauchos, the lowest seed left in the tournament at number 11, have already pulled 2 upsets. They played UConn to a standstill until about a minute and a half to go in the first half. And right now they face an uphill climb, down 10 with 5 minutes left. And their scores have disappeared. It's been up to April McDivitt. Man short again.
Well, just a tremendous job, I think, defensively in the second half on the front line by Connecticut, holding Mann and Taylor. Just really, they're not scoring at all, and Richardson is not going to get points for you.
Conwell, nice move to get away from McDivitt's pressure. UConn handles the ball so well most of the time, although they didn't in the first half, but they're great at working time off the clock. Taurasi with a wide-open 3 and can't hit it. And Taurasi very unhappy with herself. She's not shot the ball well.
Well, yesterday in practice, you and I, she came out and just couldn't miss a 3-pointer, and then the crowd was going wild, and then she finally just threw up an air ball just to keep them quiet. Oh, nice move.
Every trip becomes critical right now. Tough jump shot, and Kristen Mann finally gets a break. One goes in for her. Mann with 10 points. It's down to an 8-point lead.
I tell you, Kristen Mann is a nice player.
Yes, she is. Got some sweet moves, and she's got a lot of courage, too. Taurasi, so good at getting around screens. What a brilliant pass. Are you kidding? Taurasi, like a backhanded pass. That's her 4th assist. She's had a couple of others that would have been assists, but somebody blew the shot. And down the lane, McDivitt. Oh, not an offensive foul? Whoa.
Jessica Moore, first of all, that pass by Diana Taurasi.
Brilliant.
And then Moore coming over to take that charge. McDivitt with the nice move right there. Was she there? She was sliding.
Yes, she was. That is a good call. In live time, it did not look like it. But on the replay, nice call by the official.
Well, Geno Auriemma was up, and Chris Daly holding him back. But, you know, the pass by Diana Taurasi to Jessica Moore, the possession earlier, he has talked about her maturity and her growth as a UConn player. And early on, she just tried to thread the needle every time. And that would just aggravate the heck out of him. And, boy, that one was a needle in the haystack there.
She threaded that one. McDivitt misses the second free throw. Loose ball, knocked out of bounds. And it will go to UC Santa Barbara. McDivitt has established a career high with 17 points. But UConn still with a 9-point lead, and the magic of Diana Taurasi on display. The dream for UCSB only has 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go. They're down 9 against number 2 UConn here in Hartford. The Gauchos are going to need a miracle. Let's check in with Beth Mullins.
Well, that last timeout Geno Auriemma using to talk about defense, he said absolutely no threes on the defensive end. And offensively, he wanted them to be very patient. He's so good, Annie, in late huddles, drawing up a play specifically for, well,
guess who? Number 3 in white. Well, the other thing, too, Beth, is that the fact that they practice those kind of plays. You don't just draw it up right away.
Finally, Taylor gets a look inside. Only 5 points for the first team All-Big West center.
2 of 11 in this game.
And you have to credit Connecticut's defense for her performance as well as that of Kristen Mann, although she has had some miserable shooting luck. Conlon, they would like to keep it in her hands or Taurasi. They are such outstanding free throw shooters. That one comes up short, bodies flying.
Oh, they're going to call a foul on April McDivitt. I think that's about the dozenth time she's been on the ground.
It has. She's played her heart out. John Weeks, Westine, and Michael Price, the official, they have done a nice job, and it's interesting how many times you look at the replay and they are right, and we called it incorrectly to start with. And now Jessica Moore will go back to the line. She's only a 53% shooter, but she has done extremely well from the line today. With an unusual style, misses the front end of a 1-and-1, though. And the Gauchos still alive, down by 7. And you just see McDivitt just wants a chance to bury another one.
And McDivitt being a little intimidated, not taking that inside shot. When you get that deep and everybody's laying off you, you got to look to take the shot because Connecticut's looking for that outlet pass. And really, the Huskies have done a tremendous job slowing things down and just, as you talked about, Mike, taking time off the clock. But sometimes you can lull into it if the opponent can get hot and make some big shots.
Now, without the 10-second count, which does not exist in women's basketball, it's a great advantage when you're trying to take time off the clock. You can just stand back there and dribble it anywhere.
In the real old days, they had no backcourt at all.
Shot clock at 1, had to force up the shot. Mann with the rebound. Under 2 minutes to go.
But even off that rebound, you see Santa Barbara not looking to push the ball. They're not a fast break kind of team where, and plus, again, the fatigue is a big factor in this game, but they haven't had the opportunity to push the ball up. They have done it in the past during the Big West and the Big West tournament, but this is a team that they're a little tired and they get those defensive rebounds. They've got to look to score quickly.
And Taurasi gets credit for the steal, just reached out casually and took it away. Shot clock down to 5. Nobody better getting her own shot. Got it! That's a killer. She runs the shot clock down to 1 and buries the jumper anyway.
Yeah.
McDivitt. She has been unbelievable. 20 points, a career high for April McDivitt. And you know you're a player when you go on the road to the NCAA tournament and get a career high trying to get your team to the next round.
And this crowd has to appreciate what Santa Barbara has come out and done against Connecticut.
This game being brought to you in high definition, courtesy of Phillips and Best Buy. It is the best thing to happen in television since Ann Meyers. This is the way the normal picture 4:3 ratio looks like. Your screen is blocked off by the HD, the red bars, but when you go to HD, the whole world opens up to you, and you get to see April McDivitt hit bombs like this. It's just tremendous. The first time I ever saw a demonstration of it, you get a lot of wows when you see it.
Well, they say in the next 3 to 5 years, that's all people will be buying.
Oh, I'm sure.
HD. There's no way you can go back to the other stuff.
No, I would never buy a conventional.
And then when they get TiVo with it together, oh my!
20 points, 6 out of 10. She has handled the ball very well. She's hit 5 3-point shots. But they need more. Down by 6 points. And Taurasi banged around again.
Who's from California.
She's from Geno.
Down south. She steps in. And then you see Richardson just bangs her right in her back. She had some back problems last year because of the ankle injury. Holding her neck a little bit.
4 on Richardson.
A little whiplash there.
Yeah. Taurasi very quietly with 19 points. Not shot the ball all that well. And this is her first trip to the free throw line, where she is an 80% shooter.
This has been a very physical game for Diana Taurasi. Brandy Richardson, only a junior at 6 foot. I mean, Mark French calls it the heart of a warrior. She has a heart of a warrior, and she has gone to war with Diana Taurasi, really physically.
She has won the Naismith Trophy 2 years in a row. She should be a 3-time Kodak All-American. She just racks up every award you can get your hands on, and deservedly.
I don't mean to laugh on that, but that's an old school play that April McDivitt runs in front of the defensive player, just running down the court. I used to do that a lot, that's why. And you get the call, you stop the clock, and it works.
.102 left. Still a breath for the Gauchos. They've got to hurry, and they've got to make them all. McDivitt kicks it into the corner. Richardson with a miss. Been very, very physical. Richardson, basket and the foul on Taurasi. The last thing UConn wanted was a foul to give him a shot at a three-point play with a clock stop.
Well, they've cut it to 6. Again, bodies went flying, and there's a strip by Richardson. And Taurasi just kind of riding her out a little bit, and Richardson adding some fire.
55-49. It has certainly not been easy for UConn. UC Santa Barbara, the 11th seed in this tournament, and we saw with Beth Bowen's report earlier, 11th seeds don't do too well once they reach the Sweet 16. But this is a pretty good basketball team. I am really impressed with that.
Well, again, Mark French has proven himself year in, year out in the Big West, and taking this team to the NCAA tournament 3 years in a row. Well, 4 years, and last 3 years, they had to go to Purdue, they lost. They had to go to Texas, they lost. They had to go to Texas Tech, they lost. Well, they were able to host last year, or this year, and had a little bit better idea because when they hosted in 2000, they knew what they had to do.
Right.
And I tell you, the one thing about Connecticut, though, they have so much poise and there's so much experience that you love the youth and the hunger of the Santa Barbara team.
Richardson, the junior from Hawaii, got the roll, three-point play, 55-49.
Triple team looked like they were up with a jump ball, and Mark French happy. Not too much time off the clock.
And they'll get the foul on Fisher.
But as you said, in this broadcast, Connecticut has 3 starters that are not very good.
No, they're not.
Shooters.
They'll try to keep the ball out of their hands. But Turner is only a 66% free throw shooter. 8 points today. 2 out of 2 from the line.
So do you switch and have Diana Taurasi not taking the ball out of bounds and having her get the ball?
I do. Although if you do that, then I double team Taurasi and make sure she can't touch it anyway. But that's just me.
But it doesn't matter. Turner made it.
That's right. And she made them both. 4 out of 4. 57-50. It's a 3-possession game. Taurasi, who comes into this game averaging 15.6 points a game and 5 assists, her numbers would be so much better on the year if Connecticut was challenged more often. They blow people out so much, they win by an average of 23 points a game, so she doesn't play anything close to the full ball game. She gets a lot of rest breaks, so the numbers come down. Here's what she's done in this tournament. 18-9 against Penn. 17 points in the second round against Auburn, hit 5 out of 9 as they went crazy from long range. Today, 21 points, and has really gotten the shooting percentage back up after a dreadful start. She's 9 out of 21 for the game. Started 1 out of 9 And UConn only 46.5 seconds away from advancing.
Oh, and they turn it over.
And Conlon up in the air, got the timeout with 43:6 on the clock.
What a heads-up play by Maria Conlon to call the timeout going out of bounds. You know, and that's so tough. Coming out of a timeout, you set up a play, and to turn the ball over like that. But, you know, Mark French inspiring his players, keeping them in this game. But Connecticut's got to feel pretty good right now. They're not going to relax. That's for sure.
UConn goes on to win this game. Geno Auriemma would be 50-11 in the NCAA tournament. That's unbelievable. Penn State waiting in the wings. Here scouting this game. And in the Mideast, you'll see Duke and Louisiana Tech, Boston College in Minnesota. That's tomorrow. We'll be back Monday night with the winner of this game against Penn State, the #1 seed in the Eastern region. Geno Auriemma with the best active winning percentage of any coach in women's basketball.
Trying to get a third national championship, I should say, in a row.
You're Santa Barbara, you have to foul and take your chances. Boy, you got to hand it to April McDivitt. She has played so hard. She's bounced up and down off the floor the entire second half. She's had a smile on her face.
You know, I hope I don't understand. She's been a stud in this game.
Yes, she has. Conlon will go to the line. She's a 53% shooter. As if UConn hangs on to win, you go a little bit deeper in the tournament, and you wonder what Geno Auriemma is going to do with this delay-style offense.
Well, they've knocked down the free throws when they've needed to.
And look pretty good doing it. 59-50. McDivitt, I hope it goes in. She fights for the rebound, commits another foul.
I don't know if we have a stat on how many times she's been on the floor tonight.
Almost every time. Well, she's the star of the game as far as I'm concerned. She has played with such enthusiasm, such courage, and such skill, trying to lead a club that has never been here before and past the Sweet 16.
You're right. And from the tip, Mike, you and I talked about her presence on the floor. You could feel it from her. She definitely is a leader and just got everybody into this game. Unfortunately, the other players for Santa Barbara, things weren't clicking. They couldn't get their shots to fall. But give credit to the defense of Connecticut, and they started to pull things together in the second half. But April McDivitt, this full 40 minutes has been tremendous.
She's gotten one brief rest in this game on the bench for 1 minute. Mann. And the dream is going to die here in Hartford for UCSB. And McDivitt will commit the foul with 13-8. She's not about to give this up easy. She is going to go down to the last second of this game. A career-high 20 points in the last game, apparently, of her college career. She transferred for her senior year to UCSB.
From Connorsville, Indiana, hadn't played a minute in the Big West and was picked as a preseason All-First Team Big West player, and did get it.
Free throw by Turner rolls off the rim. And now Geno Auriemma going to get some other people in the game. Morgan Valley, the senior, will come in.
I tell you, there's a sigh of relief over on that Husky bench.
Yes, there is. UCSB gave them all they could want and then a little bit more. It's not an 11-point game. That's what the margin is, but it was a lot closer than that. McDivitt fires again. The follow inside by Mann is good with 4.9 seconds to go. And Mark French is going to call a timeout. The pro-Connecticut fans did not care for that call too much, but he wants to enjoy the last 4.9 seconds of this experience. They've never been here before.
I think you should. I think it's an opportunity to tell his kids how well they played. And, you know, even in this last 4.9 seconds, they think they can win it. I mean, they're over there thinking they can win it. And
really?
I do. You know what? Even when you're down, never went into a game thinking that I would lose. I don't care who the opponent was.
Well, you didn't lose many.
Well, there were times. But even at this point, you're right, though. They've got to savor the opportunity in the situation that they're in for the Sweet 16.
Well, Monday night we'll have a matchup of All-Americans, Taurasi and Mazzanti. Mazzanti, the #1 scorer of all time in the Big Ten, number 10 all-time in NCAA history, and the academic All-American of the Year in women's college basketball. She is #1, had a 3.49 grade point average. And Penn State is a school that allows no academic exceptions. Everybody has to pull their own weight, and I think that's the way it ought to be everywhere. I congratulate Penn State's athletic program for that. That's great.
In advertising and public relations.
Yep. And she'll be good at it, too. Length of the court pass. And guess who got there to try to knock it away? McDivitt. They'll call the foul with 4 seconds to go. She sort of laughs. That will be 5, and McDivitt will foul out of the ball game. She ought to get a standing ovation for this.
Well, they had their mascot here, the Phantom of the Dome, and he got a huge ovation at halftime. He was awesome. But McDivitt deserves the appreciation.
Even the UConn fans are on their feet. Geno Auriemma applauding as well. And Taurasi and the rest of the UConn bench. What a great performance.
1 year at Santa Barbara. What an impact she's made.
She was brilliant. Turner hits the free throw. All over but the final numbers, 62-32. UConn advances to the Elite Eight again, going for a 3rd straight national championship. And Geno Auriemma knows he's got the horses to win it. Aaron O'Brien at the buzzer, and the freshman guard from Gilbert, Arizona, gets the three-pointer to make the final 63-55. But Diana Taurasi and company have advanced again. Annie, I was so impressed by UC Santa Barbara, not just McDivitt, although she was exceptional. But that is a good basketball team. They proved they deserve to be in the Sweet 16.
Well, Mark French shows why he is such a good coach, and he came out with a great game plan against Connecticut, and you can't be intimidated. And Geno Auriemma told us before the game, he said, look, it's going to be tough playing here because of the expectations. And his team did not play well in the first half, but they pulled it together in the second half.
Let's go to Beth. She's with Geno Auriemma.
Thank you very much. Well, Coach, an impressive performance by your second half. How were you able to limit the effectiveness today of Mann and Taylor inside for them?
Well, I thought we did a pretty good job on Lindsey Taylor. Our big guys just worked extremely hard, and we helped off with some players. But I thought Kristen Mann hurt us a couple of times. She's just really hard to guard one-on-one. But, you know, we've been a good defensive team all year long, and I've got a lot of confidence in our guys that they can play good defense, and we needed every bit of it today.
How would you describe the performance of Diana today for you?
Well, she started off making a couple shots, and then I think she kind of got in a little bit of a rush. But, you know, the one thing Dee knows is I think she knows how to get it back. So I think she lost it a little bit for a stretch, didn't get her 3rd foul. I thought she kept her composure and then did what great players do. She made a lot of big shots at the end to kind of give us the cushion that we needed.
The last time you guys were not a #1 seed, you lost to NC State before getting to the Final Four. What are some of your thoughts as you get ready now to prepare for the #1 seed in the East Penn State?
Well, we had some injuries that year, you know, so we were pretty banged up, and we were missing our best player. And we had a big lead, and we let it slip away. So if we have a big lead tomorrow, I'll be happy. But that's about the only thing I can think of that makes any sense compared to that last one.
Well, your best player is still with you right now, and she's standing by. And Diana Taurasi, why is it, do you think, that you are able to make late-game situations your time to shine?
I don't know. I guess I'm not scared. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to be scared of the consequences. And, you know, I've worked so hard, and my teams have worked so hard that we're not going to let those opportunities go to waste.
You showed a lot of vocal leadership. What do you talk about with your teammates in a huddle down the stretch to keep them poised?
You know, it's important in a game like this where everything's hard. You really got to keep on the same page. And being a senior, and Maria being a senior, I think we do a pretty good job of keeping everyone together when things might be falling apart a little bit.
when April McDivitt left Tennessee, you probably thought you were rid of her.
I know.
What did you think of her performance in the way that they fought today?
I mean, she personifies that team, just how tough she is, gritty. She didn't give up to, the last 4 seconds. So my hat's off to the whole UCSB. I mean, they're from California, so I'm still cheering for them.
Well, congratulations on the win today, Dan.
Thanks.
Well, American Diana Taurasi helps lead her team past a valiant effort from UC Santa Barbara and April McDivitt. The final 63-55 from Hartford will rejoin you Monday night for Beth Mullins and Ann Meyers. Mike Patrick, glad you could join us today. Let's go to Rece Davis.
All right, Mike, we'll take you to the World Figure Skating Championships presented by Olay at the bottom of the hour. Rece Davis with you, along with Nell Fortner and Stacey Schumann. So it continues. 1 and 2 seeds on their home floor, still undefeated in the Sweet 16, now 24-0, and UConn is headed to the Elite 8 for the 10th time in the last 11 years.
Well, I tell you, I thought they did a great job handling Santa Barbara's zone defense, man defense, all the pressure they had. Impressive how they took UConn out of their offense. I thought they did a great job with that. April McDivitt, great day, way to go out as a senior.
I thought the offensive boards really hurt UCSB. Connecticut had 15. They scored 12 second chance points. Anytime that happens, you're going to win a basketball game.
The Gauchos acquitted themselves quite well previously when a team seeded 11 or lower had made it to the round of 16. They'd lost by double digits. Now, it took a banked-in 3 right at the end to make sure it was a single-digit game, but this game had the feeling of a much closer affair, and certainly UCSB played quite well. Well, coming up next for UConn will be the winner of the Notre Dame-Penn State game. If you happen to just be joining us, that game played earlier today in the Hartford Civic Center. Penn State, the #1 seed in the East region, and Notre Dame breaking out the green jerseys. Digger Phelps not pleased about Muffet McGraw's decision, but more pleased Teresa Borton inside, putting the Irish up by 5. This just before the half. Just Brungo gave the Nittany Lions a lead at the break. Kelly Mazzanti, see it and be it. You see it's still a tight game, and here's Brungo again.
Well, I tell you, those inbounds plays by Penn State just were clicking today, and it kept them in the game. It gave them momentum to continue.
Jess Strom hitting the 3 from the corner to tie it at 35. But Courtney Lazier would answer as Notre Dame went on a little run, went up by 5. But then Brungo and Tanisha Wright working well together.
Tanisha Wright didn't exactly have the offensive game she had in the previous, but she made plays down the stretch when her team needed them. I think that's a mark of a good team. We've talked about it for the last few days. Do great players step up when superstars aren't playing their best? And that's what's happening with Penn State.
And speaking of superstars, Kelly Mazzanti shot it okay, 16 points, but just 6 of 16 from the floor. And then the Lady Lions coming up with the big offensive rebound off the missed free throw by Racina Russell. And for the first time in her glorious career, Kelly Mazzanti is going past the Sweet 16. Penn State is into the Elite 8 for the 4th time.
Well, I tell you, they just had an impressive performance getting through their struggles against that Notre Dame zone defense. It just stifled them all day long, but they hung tough in the end.
And the inbounds plays that you guys talked about, Penn State ran them to perfection, and this has to drive a coach crazy because you go over these over and over again.
It drives a player crazy, Rece. When you're walking in through your walkthroughs and you're going through the sets of the opposition, you spend a lot of time trying to trigger those key shots where they're going to come from. And when it doesn't happen the right way, it's very demoralizing.
But, you know, Rece, you look at that and where they were scoring on those inbounds plays. They were scoring under the basket, and you've got to have that defender down there in the middle of the basket to take away the layups all the time. So the inbound defense needs to have their head in the basket to take away any kind of those layups.
All right, let's spin this forward now. The East Regional Final has said it will be Penn State, and UConn is form holds at least when we get to the Elite 8 game. What did you see from Penn State that you feel like they need to change if they're going to hang in there?
Well, they don't have to change too much. Obviously, you know, they're going to the Elite 8. They're pretty good.
Well, I mean, as far as getting the ball inside?
They're a pretty good basketball team. But what I think they have to do is just get some more touches inside. We know that their guards score a lot, whether it's Mazzanti, Strom, Wright, even Jess Brungo. But I think they just need touches inside. Racina Russell has to demand the ball, even if she just catches it and drops it back out to the other side, switches the ball up, changes things up a little bit. I think that will help them, especially against a really good defensive team like Connecticut.
I think the other thing we're going to look at right here, all these games are going to be close. It doesn't matter who you're playing. At this point in time, Sweet 16, Elite 8, all the games are going to be close. You've got to knock down shots. You're going to get looks. Now, there's going to be good defense, but great shooters are going to get free. You've got to knock down the shots when you get those looks.